Hi, this video is going to be about, again, selecting with the pen tool. I'm actually going to do this in two parts. So the first part will be the actual selection and the second part will be to refine it, only because these can be quite long. I showed you guys earlier with the Apple how to use the pen tool. I'm going to go into a little bit more detail with this photo. It's a little bit more tricky, but I think you guys should get it. So let's start. I already duplicated the layer and I added a white layer underneath. That way I can see when I do add the layer mask, it'll take out the black and we can see it on white so we can see where we need to correct. Alright, to start, grab the pen tool. Again, it's right here, pen tool. And I'm going to zoom in. It's a little easier for me. And then, just like we did before, I'm going to place these little markers. You want to place them again at peaks and at, I guess, indents or valleys. Sometimes you might want to do a few if it's a deeper one like this one. But we can always add more, and I'll show you how to do that in just a bit. Okay, let me get a few more. And this one's a little bit difficult in that it can be blurry at times. I'm going to go straight across. I'm not sure if that's actually part of it, but we're going to assume it is. Unfortunately, the background, or actually he is feathered enough to where it looks a little blurred. But we can correct that later if we would like. And actually, it's in our favor to start with because usually you want to feather these kind of things. Otherwise, it looks too, as they like to say, crispy. You know, it's like the edges are too, not necessarily in focus, but they're just too strong, and it doesn't look natural. It looks like we added it. And I'm trying to make this as natural as possible. Now, if you notice, you know, as I'm doing this, it's leaving out quite a bit, just like it did in the Apple, which is fine. We're going to refine it. This is just a start to kind of get our points down and know where we're going to change these. Okay, so at this corner I'm going to hit here. I'm going to go to the corner here as best I can, bring it all the way across and back to this side. And we can also refine that. So let's finish this up. And you can see as I'm doing this, what you're going to need to do. You can just follow along this tutorial. I will put the picture up as well so that you could practice. And I'm noticing in here that there's something, but I'm going to take it right to this white. It's kind of hard to see, and I think if I selected it, it would kind of look a little off. So I'm just going to do it this way. Yeah, in bigger, say valleys like this, I'm adding a couple because sometimes if you just add one, it gets a little, I don't know, kind of weird, I guess. It's hard to get the curves to line up correctly, and I want them to line up as close as I can to get as close to perfection as I can, even though I know it's impossible to get perfection, although I like to do that. So again, you know, just put these little dots. Now, when you want to end it or you want to combine them to make the shape, you just click on the first one, and it closes it, and then you see I don't have that line anymore. Okay, so from here, I'm going to go again to the pen tool, hold it down, and go to this convert point tool. I'm just going to go around and convert every little anchor here to this little curve. And again, just like I said before, you know, I do it once, but if I don't click again and move it, it'll assume both of them want to move together, and that's not what I want because, you know, it won't work on some of these valleys and things that you want to get as close to the edge as you can. Now you could do this later. I just find it a little easier to do this in a couple different parts. You know, later on when we fine tune, we could do this as well, but I would like to keep it as close to as I do it as possible because, you know, that just adds a little bit more steps. And I found this is a little easier. Technically, as you're selecting it, you know, originally with the pen tool, you can do somewhat of this. I just find it doesn't work very well and it confuses me, so I just don't, I do it this way. So I do it in different steps, and I still do it this way. This isn't just a learning thing. This is how I actually approach this. So as you can see, I'm just selecting all the different around the ear. And so what I'm going to do to save time, I'm actually going to pause this video and continue around just doing this, and I'll pick back up when I fine tune. Okay, now that I went through and selected each one using this convert point tool, you can see it's a rough. Now granted, it's a little bit closer, but I still have a little bit of fine tuning. So if I go in close, you can kind of see those areas to where I need to fine tune in here. And I'm going to do that with a different tool. It's a little bit easier, but I'm actually going to do that in the next video. So I'm going to go ahead and post this, and I'll put part 2 up in just a little bit.